Hi, yes, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi, future Noelle. I kind of realized that I just started spitting facts about myself at you. This is my first YouTube video, so that's why I kind of gave a rundown about myself. Yeah, enjoy the video. I am Noelle. I'm 24. I'm a Leo. What else can I say about myself? I'm queer, I'm autistic, and this is a safe space for all of my fellow queers and autistics. Yes, welcome to my top 13 reads of 2023. This is my third time having to film this video, so I had to make it a little bit more interesting for myself. I was gonna film it in I was filming it in a certain order, an order that I had it organized in my brain, but since I've already filmed this 3 times, I was like, I don't want to sound scripted. I want to sound genuine. I want you guys to, like, subscribe to me for me, you know, and not a script. So I am gonna stick to my first and last book because I picked those on the first and last slot for reasons. The rest of them I put inside of my cup. So we're gonna draw from the Taylor cup to see what book I choose next. So before we dive right in, I am going to explain to you my rating system. So this is my rating system, okay? We've got stars and we've got flame hearts. Now, the star system is basic. You know how star ratings work if you read books or you are on any sort of book platform. I think the lowest rated book that I have in this video is a 4 stars. 4 stars, it's still like a perfect book to me. I just didn't get that 5-star feeling. The hearts, it's just how much I enjoyed the romance. So some of these books have low heart ratings and some of them have a 4-star and a high heart. It's just like sometimes I really connect with the couple. I just don't connect with like the rest of the book, if that makes sense. And then the flame is the spice rating. So the spice rating is the only thing that is not my own opinion. It is how much spice is in the book. A 0.25 is the lowest that we're gonna get in this video, and usually that's what YA books are on my scale, just as kind of a, I guess, a gauge. And then a 3 flame is a typical contemporary romance. A 4 flame is like, okay, there's a little extra spice in this. Like, this is a spicy book. There's extra smut. And then a 5 is like, this is more than likely a dark romance book, and spice is part of the plot. Like, character development happens within the spice. You probably can't read this book without reading the smut. Hi. Look at this baby. This is Moonshine. Can you say hello? We can get off track for this. Look at his face. What's he doing? Look at her little baby. I love you. Anyway, we're gonna start with the first book. It's literally directly behind me. I just can't see. So the first book of this video is Priest by Sierra Simone. I'm gonna try my hardest to knock it off track and give the rating right off the bat. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. I gave it a 5 on my heart scale, and I think in my little journal and on TikTok and Instagram, I gave it a 4 flames, but I think I might even move this up to like a 4.5 on the flame scale. There is a lot of spice in this book. This is the collage that I made. It will be up there with my ratings and everything, as you have already seen. And if you want to see this up close, they're all on my Instagram. The reason that this is the first book that I'm mentioning is because this is the first book that I read this year. I don't know why. I thought like romance was just like Nora Roberts or something like that. The romance books that our moms read, okay, that were like on the shelves in Walmart, and like that's what I thought. That's the only books that I thought existed in the romance sphere. So I read a lot of fan fiction up until this year. Yes, I still read fan fiction. Don't come at me. This book follows Poppy and Tyler. Poppy is a dancer and she comes from like a rich upper class family, and Tyler comes from a middle class family who grew up Catholic, and he ends up becoming a Catholic priest, and Poppy comes in for a confession, and it goes from there. I don't like to give away too much about books. I like to go in completely blind to books. Most of the time I don't even read the synopsis on the back of the books. I like to go in bare, like, maximum I like to go in knowing the tropes. Some of these books I went and I didn't even know the tropes. So I'm not going to give away too much. My partner didn't realize that, like, I'm a really fast reader, and I think it's just because, like, I never, like, read, like, physical books. I was always reading fan fictions on my phone. And when I finished this book in a night, he was like, wow, you ate that up. And I was like, I sure did. And then it spiraled from there, as you can assume. Second book. Oh my god. The fact that we're getting this right now already, you guys are gonna think I'm fucking batshit crazy. I'm just gonna say it. This is my favorite book that I read this year. Heartless by Elsie Silver. 5 stars, 5 hearts. I gave it a 3 on the spice meter. I might give it a 3.5. Let's bump it up to a 3.5 just to be safe. Cade and Willa. Rhett and Summer. Jasper and Sloane. Theo and Winter. Bo and Bailey. All of them have my heart, okay? 5 stars. All of the books in my heart are 5 stars. They all gave me the 5-star feeling, but I connected to Cade and Willa the most. I have reread this book twice now. I have listened to it 3 times. This is my safe space, and I was not gonna read this book. Like, I was planning on not continuing on with the series, and I was just gonna skip over this book because I was like, I don't think single dad, nanny, having a kid in a book is something that I really would like. Oh boy, was I wrong. I could not tell you what I loved about this book because I would just have to read you the entire book. And the trope in this book, I'm not gonna say anything other than I don't like that trope. The trope worked for them. Like, it was a good continuation of their story. These books feel like home to me. Also, if someone in real life ever called me red, I would be like, can you not? That's so fucking cringy. Like, let's just not, okay? Josh calls Jules red in Twisted Hate, and I literally bumped it from a 4.5 to a 4.25 because he called her red. Cade Eaton could call me red any day. He could call me red any day. Let's move on, because I could literally talk about this book for hours. And I do talk about this book for hours. Okay, book 3. If we get, like, my second favorite book of the year, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Okay, we didn't. Good. But we got the book that introduced me to my favorite trope, which is a good next step. So speaking of the Twisted series, Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I rated this book 5 stars. I gave it a 5 on my heart, and I gave it a 3 on the spice. This was my favorite, obviously, in the entire Twisted series. The way that this book wrapped everything up was amazing. I read this on my Kindle, so I had no clue how fucking thick it was. For me, this book felt like the shortest of the whole series. Like, that's how much I was enjoying it. I think that Christian and Stella are such an underrated couple. I think that this book deserves more love. And then you also got to know, like, some of the characters in her next series, the King of Sen series, which I also love, in her next series, the King of Sen series, which I also love. It just didn't make it into this video because this was, like, the book that was more monumental to me. And it introduced me to fake dating. Listen, I was like, oh my god, that's so cheesy, that's so dumb, like a fake relationship for PR. No. I loved Stella and Christian so much, and this book was such a slow burn, but the spice was just perfect. Like, that anticipation killed me.
That I literally died I literally just died dead, and I couldn't breathe anymore, so I died. Rest in peace, me. R.I.P. me. Hashtag.
If I had to pick, I think, like, a favorite, like, my favorite, like, female main character, like, the character that I really, really related to, the most, it would be Stella. Like, Stella is such an introvert, and she's chronically online, and she's just, like, the quietest of her friend group, and I feel like she was really, overshadowed in the other books. Like, I felt like, I was like, I don't really know Stella, like, I'm not that excited for her book. Like, reading this, going into this, I understood why. You know, like, I really did. Like, I got why she represented Stella in those books the way that she did. And I just think Stella really, really she's just a really relatable character. Anyways, really good. If you haven't finished the series, please tough it out so you can read this, okay? Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about Twisted Lies. Should I read Anna Huang's first series? Because, like, I loved all of these books. Can you see how many fucking copies of Twisted Greed that I have? That's 3 copies. The next book we're going to talk about is my first 4-star. Loved this book. Obviously, that's why it made it on to my list. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Hi, I just wanted to pop in here and say that this book and also, spoiler alert, Divine Rivals are both published by St. Martin's Press, and we are currently boycotting St. Martin's Press. So please, if you haven't read these books and they are on your TBR and you don't already own a physical copy, please don't go out and buy the physical copies, because St. Martin's Press needs to take accountability for their employees and some of the hateful comments that their employees have made, but they have not yet. And it's been literal weeks. I think it's almost been a month now. But good news, both of those books are on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to read them, they're on Kindle Unlimited. I did not pay attention, if I'm going to be completely honest, and that was my own ignorance, and this isn't a channel where I want to not take accountability for my actions. And see this logo, any of these logos on the spines of a book, please don't buy them. And if you want more information, I will try my hardest to link some resources down below. I'm not going to get super into it because that's not what this video is about, but I did want to at least acknowledge that fact. So, yes. I cannot pronounce names. If I mispronounce authors' names, I'm so sorry. I gave this book 4 stars. I gave it a 5 on my romance scale, and I gave it a 2.5 on the spice. Yes, there was spice in this book, but the spice was not super spicy, if that makes sense. The reason that this book made it on the list is because this was the first book that I read that had bisexual character in it, and that, like, really for me represented the, like, bi, like, mindset. And he's also from Texas, and I love that because I'm from Texas. It's become one of my personality traits since I moved out of Texas. It also just did a really, really, really good job with how it is to be queer in politics, like in America. Just like the stigmas around being queer and being, like, obviously, like, I'm not a political figure, none of my family members are political, but I just think it did a really good job representing what it is like to be queer in today's world, in today's, like, political climate. And I really enjoyed it, and I loved the romance. I loved the representation of a long distance romance. I thought Henry was really cute. I did love their banter at the beginning. I thought, and, like, throughout the whole book, their banter was amazing. But the little rivals to lovers, like, it's just such a cute trope. And the friendship group in this book, I think in a, like, I want to say in a standalone book, this is my favorite, like, friendship group that I read this year. The only reason that this got a 4 rather than a 5, I did find myself, like, wanting it to go a little faster in some points, but it really didn't bother me that much. I still ate it up. I really loved it. I just always wanted them to be together. Like, all of their scenes where they were together or they were hanging out with all of their friends, I loved it, and I just wanted them to be together, but like the inner monologues sometimes were just a little long for me. Next book. We got our next queer book, Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. I rated this book a 4 stars. I gave it a 5 hearts, and I gave it a 2.5 on my spice scale. This book did have spice, but like I said, it wasn't as much. Like, there wasn't that many spicy scenes. This is the second book out of 3 in the Bright Falls series by Ashley Herring Blake. This book follows Astrid and Jordan. Astrid is an interior designer who owns her own small business in Bright Falls, and Jordan is the granddaughter of the owner of like an old historic inn in the town, and they have to work together to restore the inn. Now, I rated Delilah Green Doesn't Care like a 3.5 or something. I liked it. I thought it was a cute book. I thought it was a cute read. It just felt really long. And I had the same kind of problems with this book where the internal monologues were a little dragged out, but whenever she was with her friends or with Jordan or with other characters, like when things were happening and it wasn't just her internal monologue, I ate it up. I was very, very intrigued to read Astrid's book because she is super like high-strung, perfectionist, basically like mini-me to her mother in the first book. And in the first book, something happens. I'm not going to spoil anything. And she now kind of has to reevaluate. I cried. Okay? I cried a lot while reading this book because so much of Astrid's thought process was very similar to my own when I was discovering my sexuality. Oh my gosh. I like women. I like girls. And just the way that, like, Jordan responds and just, like, takes it all in. Like, she never makes Astrid feel invalid in her sexuality. And I love that. I was really scared that that was going to happen when I, like, found out that Astrid had never come out and, like, was not, you know, like, did not identify as queer up until like this point in her life. So I really loved it. I thought it was really well done. It was really hard to find aesthetic pictures for this book. Why are all of the aesthetic pictures on Pinterest of like sapphic women all high femme women? Why is there no cute? If you are in a couple and you you have blonde hair and your partner has cropped short side shaven hair, please take some cute aesthetic pictures so I can make another collage for this book and then tag me in them, please. Next book. Ooh, fun. The Right Move by Liz Tomforde. 5 stars, 5 hearts, 3 on the spicy scale. This book is the second book in the Windy City series. I feel like me, like a lot of other people, DNF'd the first book. I feel like you either loved the first book or you DNF'd it because it's really highly rated on Goodreads, and I was really looking forward to it because I was in my hockey romance era, and then I didn't connect with the characters. I didn't really connect with either of them. I feel like maybe if I like skipped the middle of the book and then got to the end when Xander turned into a simp, I probably would have loved it even more. But anyway, I loved them in the next books, and I really kind of want to go back and read it. Tell me if I should, because I really do think I want to go back and read it now that I've read this one and caught up, because I loved them both so much. Anyway, this book follows Ryan Shea and Indy. Ryan is the captain of the football team.
He's the captain of the basketball team, not the football team.
In Chicago. And Indy is Ryan's twin sister's best friend, and they're flight attendants together for the hockey team. Indy just got out of like a super long-term relationship, and she needs a place to stay. And of course, Stevie goes to Ryan and is like, Indy needs a place to stay. You're never even home. She's never even home. Just, you know, let her live there. He does, obviously. It's a forced proximity trope. And then I didn't know going into this book, they end up fake dating, and this happens really fast, okay, like within the first few chapters, I think, and I didn't know it was fake dating, and I was already loving the book. Like, I was already in love with all of the characters. Then they started fake dating, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay, I'm not gonna say much, like I said, because I like people to go in blind, but listen, acts of service, if acts of service is your partner's love language, read this book, because Ryan Shea is the blueprint. Book 7 is The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. 5 stars, 5 hearts. I gave it a 2.5 on the spice. There's still spice. There's like not as much as other spicy books. Now listen, I picked up this book completely blind. I knew obviously it was women in STEM. Hazelwood. People love this book. I picked it up because people were saying it was like a Reylo fanfiction. Now, as we've already established, I love fanfic and love Star Wars. No, it's not. But I picked this book up completely blind, not knowing what it was going to be about. The prologue already had me kicking and screaming and giggling. I was so confused in the first chapter. Wait a second, what the fuck is happening? They start fake dating. the trope is fake dating. And as we have established here, I love the fake dating trope, and I ate this shit up. I love how awkward and just like no filter Olive is, and how he just always goes along with it. No questions asked. He just goes along with it. He goes with the flow. Everyone thinks that he's an asshole, he's a dick, but we love dicks who have a sweet spot for their girly. The communication in this book, perfection, chef's kiss, so good. I don't know, I love an awkward, clumsy, smart girly. And I love a grumpy boy who always sticks up for his awkward girly. Can't even make this up, my heart is racing. My camera was doing like a weird timey thing, so I like stopped it and I went into my camera roll, and the whole clip that I'd filmed, as we already know, this would have been my 4th time having to refilm it, but it's there now. Oh my god. I was like, this cannot be happening. This cannot be happening to me. I don't even know where I left off because all of that just happened to me. I can't wait to read more of Hazelwood's books. I haven't read any since, but leave the one that I should read next down below. Okay. Next. Haunting Adeline. I grouped these together. This was, okay, don't come at me, because I already had pre-ordered the book, but it wasn't going to be here for months, and I really wanted to read it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and so I downloaded a PDF onto my phone, and I read it on my phone. Little did I know, okay, it was both of the books together, and I just read it all together in one go, in like 2.5 days. Do that if you want to have nightmares. Anyways, I gave this an average rating overall. I gave it a 4.5 overall. I gave it a 4 on my hearts, and I gave it a 5 on spice. I literally picked this up because of the infamous chapter 16 that was non-stop talked about, and I was like, oh my god, I need to read that. It's giving One Direction Mafia fanfics. Yes, please. I really felt like Addie was gaslighting herself in the beginning of this book, and I didn't like Zaid. I felt like he was really like Stockholm syndroming her, and like that's great, but that's not what I signed up for, okay? Like I knew that this, I didn't like, I don't know, I knew that it was a stalker romance. I knew kind of what it was about. By the end of the book, I loved their romance, but I did give their romance a 3 hearts during the first part of my book experience. And then going into the second book and the way that Zaid helped Addie cope with her trauma really, really got to me. And like, I loved it, and I ended up loving them. It's a dark romance. He's a very, very morally great character, but I really did love him, end up loving him in the end, so that's why it's only a 4 and not a 5 on the heart scale. But if we were just rating the second book, it would be a 5 on my heart scale. This is a 5 on my spice meter because this book could not happen without the spice. If you don't like smut, you don't read this book, because this like plot happens within the smut of this book. Character development happens in the smut scenes, so just proceed with caution. I did have nightmares for like a week, so maybe don't read it as quickly as I did. Oh, we get to talk about the only other dark romance on this list. And it's by the same author. Can you guess what book it is? Yes, it's Does It Hurt by H.G. Carlton. I rated this book a 4 stars. I gave it a 3 on the heart scale, and I gave it a 5 on the spice meter. Now, you might be wondering, Noelle, why in the hell is this on your list if it's a 3 hearts and also a 4 stars? Well, I could not put this book down. This was a thrilling book. I don't want to say that it's a thriller because I don't think technically it's considered a thriller, but if it's not, it should be. Okay, this book had me in a chokehold. I needed to know what was going to happen from the very first page. I was so confused the entire time. The reason that I gave this a 3 on the hearts, and the reason that it made it on my list, is because I realized that in order for me to thoroughly enjoy a book, I do not have to thoroughly enjoy the romance in the book. And it made me realize that maybe I should read more thrillers. Have I? No. I just didn't like Enzo. I thought he was a dick. I felt like he was way too hard on what's-her-face? Sawyer, I think is her name. I think he was way too hard on Sawyer. I 100% support Sawyer. I would never do it. I don't have the balls, but I would 100% support Sawyer and her decisions that she made. It's Enzo, it's your fault that you fell for it, okay? Kind of redeemed himself there towards the end, kind of, but it just didn't, the ending did not make up the rest of his actions, did not make up for the rest of his actions. Words, there we go. I might even say that the plot in this is better than at least Haunting Adeline. Just saying. If you haven't given it a try, you should give it a try. Oh my god, there's only 2 left in here after this one. So 4 more, because I still have 1 more after this one. My babies. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. First of all, let's just get the rating. 5 stars, 5 hearts, 3 on the spicy scale. I might move it up to like a 3.5 because if there's like spice at the beginning of the book and like not just towards the back half, I usually try and bump it up to like a 3.5 because there was a little bit of spice towards the start of this book. It's really filthy if you are just starting to read smut. Oh, there's Rue. Hi. This is my other baby, Rue. Rue is a little taxi baby. Yes, say hello. She's very talkative. Nate and Stassi, cat hair, were just perfection to me. The communication in this book, I think this is like the first romance book that I read where there wasn't a 3rd act breakup. And throughout the whole book, they just, like, yes, they're college kids. Stassi is like very driven and like very goal oriented and like very set, you know, like she has a planner and she lives day to day like through her planner very strictly, and he is kind of like a goofy carefree guy, and so like yes, they have that difference, but they still communicate. This book, did it really have a plot? No, I don't think so, but it was just all vibes all the way through. I loved every single second of this book, and the thing that I love about Hannah Grace is that she can put serious topics in her book, but not make it like the centerfold, and also not just brush it to the side. The like big thing that Stassi struggles with is her relationship with food, and as someone with an eating disorder, I just think Hannah Grace did a really, really good job addressing it, how she coped with it and how she dealt with it, and the way that she grew and like grew through it, like in the span of the book. I just think it was really well done. I think she represented it really well, and I think the way that Nate helped Stassi deal with it was just perfect. Like, no notes on this book, literally no notes. And the found family vibes in this series is immaculate. I am so excited for Henry's book. I don't want to say that he might top Nate and Stassi, but he really might. Our main girl, even though I don't really know anything about her, I know that she's in a book club, and I know that she's wearing a folklore cardigan on the cover. So, and the trope is going to be fake dating. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What am I trying to prove here? I feel like I'm doing one of those silent reviews, you know, that people do. Can you already tell? Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Okay, 5 stars, first of all, 5 hearts, 0.25 on the spice scale. There's a ... moment, and some kissing. I went into this book completely blind. I didn't process that these were typewriter keys, okay? Like, that's how blind I went in. I had just seen a bunch of people rate it 5 stars on my TikTok, and I heard Sarah Khalilieh talk about it nonstop. And then I saw it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, I'm just gonna give it a try. It sat in my Kindle Unlimited library for like 2 to 3 weeks, and then I finally just one night opened it. From literally the first, I'm not exaggerating, from the first page, I could picture myself in the story. I could see everything happening around me. I could see everything Iris was talking about. Her writing is so wonderful and magical and beautiful, and it made me feel the same way that Bridge to Terabithia and the Chronicles of Narnia made me feel. Just the pure love and light, and how everything around them was so dark and dreary, but this book was somehow just so magical, and like it tugged on my heartstrings. But I want you to go into this book knowing as little as you possibly can, so I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm not gonna give anything else away. Something more. This is one of the books that I recommended in my TikTok recommending books by Palestinian authors. One of my lovely TikTok friends actually sent me this book, so thank you so much. The reason that I wanted to read this most out of all of my recommendations was because it's a romance, first of all, and second of all, our main character, Jessie, just got diagnosed with autism. Like, I expected to just casually enjoy this book. Like, I knew I was gonna at least like it because autistic representation, a cute little romance, but I ate this book up. Did I even give the rating? I didn't give the rating. 5 stars, a 3.5 on my heart meter, and then a 0.25. I almost gave it none, but there was like kissing and like a little bit of PDA in the book, so I gave it a 0.25 on the little spice thing. The reason that this got a 3.5 on my romance meter is because I love one of the boys a lot. And it's not that I didn't like the other boy. It's just that, like, I think that as a kid, or as a high schooler, I would have given this, like, a higher rating on my little love meter, because I would have 100%, like, stood with Jessie and like all of her reasonings for being with the other guy, and like been like, yes, absolutely, that's so perfect. And if this was like in a different world and it was more adult and like it wasn't a high school romance and maybe like a college romance and could have been like a why choose, I probably would have given it a 5 hearts, because let's be honest, if I was a different age, I definitely would have given this book a 5 on my heart scale. I completely understood and related to Jessie and everything that she was going through, and I loved the way it ended, and I loved all of the references. I'm also a Swiftie. I grew up on 90s music. I love Broadway. I love Buffy, Little Shop of Horrors. I absolutely love this book. I really related to Jessie, and reading this book, it just, like, it made me feel like I was back in high school, and like I was back in my high school brain. And being a little fangirl, I just didn't know I was autistic, and so I think that this book just gave me a big warm hug and made me realize that there's a reason that you felt so different from everybody else, and you just didn't get to realize it, but Jessie did. And it just, I don't know, it just gave me a big hug, and I really loved this book, and I could cry thinking about it, because I did cry multiple times in this book. We're on to book 13, and I'm gonna go pee really quick. Book 13 is very special to me. It's The Memory Puller by Kris K. Haines. If you follow me anywhere, if you follow me on TikTok, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know how much I love this book. I feel like I've talked about this book so much this year, but it truly was my favorite fantasy of the year. 5 stars, 5 hearts. It is a romantasy. And a 2 on the spice scale. Yes, it's a little spicy. It's a slow burn and it's a little spicy, but it's not super spicy. But the second book, I was lucky enough to be an ARC reader on this book, and I feel like I talk about it all the time, and people are like probably like, oh my god, get over it, you were an ARC reader, whatever. This is my first ARC ever. It ended up being my favorite fantasy read of the year. Like, I cannot believe that. Like, fate really just said, invisible string. This is a debut novel. This is the first novel that this author has ever written. The magic system and the world building are so well done and well written and captivating and just new and fresh and like unlike anything that I've ever read before. As someone who romantasy like is my genre, okay? That is my like probably my favorite genre of books is romantasy. It's so good and so unique, and like I said, it's unlike anything I've ever read before. This book on its own, though, like, no, it couldn't be a standalone, but it totally could. Book ones in fantasy series usually aren't the best, like, because, you know, it's just setting up for the rest of the series. The lore and the magic and the world and learning about the world and learning about like Cassandra and Tristan and their budding relationship and learning about, like, learning with Cassandra really why she's a shrouded sister is perfect and wonderful and magical. And the side characters who become main characters in the second book, Xena and Kale, I love them. I love them so much. I can't talk highly about this book. Like, I can't give it enough praise. It literally had me in tears, in giggles, in fits, and tingles, and all of the good feels of everything. Please read this book. If you like fantasy, please read this book. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and the second book is out, so you don't even have to wait. I have no clue when the third book's gonna come out, but I'm really excited for it. But just, guys, read it. Love it. I promise it will not disappoint you, okay? Okay. What do we have to talk about? Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched this long, if you have, you should leave a little feather emoji. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for being here, for hanging out with me. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and leave some recommendations below for videos that you maybe want to see me make. Follow me on TikTok, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much. Now I'm gonna go edit for like 5 hours because I have a lot to cut out because I kept rambling. Anyway.